according to the New York Times, Amazon is set to lay off about 10,000 workers. They have 1.5 million workers on their payroll globally, and they're downscaling just as Meta, Twitter, and many other tech companies are laying off into a possible recession. Tech seems to be the place where things hit first. We've seen it in crypto for sure with a lot of layoffs. Coinbase is the one that first comes to mind from the spring where they laid off about 1,100 employees. So a lot going on here. Zach, I want to throw this one up to you. What's your take on it? 10,000 employees is certainly a lot. But if you contextualize it within what Amazon has been doing over the last 2 years, building a lot of warehouses, everyone went to online ordering. Like, it seems there was probably a correction needed. So to me, this isn't like as big of a negative headline as most people are reading into it. Most people, I think, are saying like it's only going to get worse from here.
I agree with you. This is 1% of their global workforce. This is sad for those affected, but not the doom and gloom headline that I think some people are construing this as. Right? This is a pullback after a time of rapid growth. It's wild to think of a global pandemic as being like the catalyst for gangbusters economic activity, but Amazon would be the prime example of that. And sorry, I just said Prime, Amazon Prime. So that, I think, to me is like just the weird contextual situation that we face here. But again, it speaks to like macroeconomic challenges in the broader market. It's not just a crypto story. It's not just a tech story. It's a retail story. It's an e-commerce story. It's stuff that affects people in the real world. So the fact that a lot of these conversations are happening against a broader sort of macroeconomic picture that's a bit dire, and I think may or may not get worse, is something that I think is good to remind ourselves of as we cover the crypto space, which is a subsector of the greater economy. All right, I did an Amazon Prime plug. That was weird, but I'll toss it to Jen for last thoughts on this.
Yeah, I thought much the same thing as both you, Zach, and Will. It's 1% of their global workforce. I think this makes sense in the context of Amazon. But if we pull out and we look at the macro situation, there's an Amazon warehouse right near where I live. And I was reading this morning that here in Toronto, we are seeing record numbers of young employed people who are now resorting to food banks for food. So I just think that the macro situation is dire. Interest rates are rising. People are probably going to lose their homes. Inflation is at, all-time highs. And it is a really tough situation for a lot of people out there. And I think when you think about it like that, just exactly what Zach was saying, you read this and then you think like, man, it's just going to get worse. Maybe I'm going to lose my job. And so I hope that people are able to contextualize this story and, just plan for things maybe to get a little bit worse next year as we head into the recession. I don't think we've seen the crux of the recession yet. And so don't take it all as doom and gloom.